make a statement.
Gonna learn the consequence of being incompetent. Mental health is confidence, dreams and some honestness. I'm not here to save the day, that's for you to take away. I could play a million mind games, but instead I say something not illogical, something that is topical. Rub it on and watch it go, make yourself unstoppable. Dreams are irresponsible, but they're always possible. If you just believe, you could be so remarkable.
Thoughts in my head, a collage and they spread. I'll be great one day, going off of my meds. No, I'm not giving up, no, I'm not giving in. I will make it to the top, taking off in the wind. I gotta make it, I'm saving every day to taste it. I'm patient, but my mind, it can hardly take it. I'm chasing a dream that I've had for several ages. A vacant, modern kingdom for the taking.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough,
I'll always show up. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that thing. While I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who coming to the stage. Sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Stripes like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're out the dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches won't cut you short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live all through your speakers, go.
And now, Mike's thoughts. The NFL Pro Bowl is a joke. The NFL Pro Bowl is a joke. Let me say it one more time for the people in the back. The NFL Pro Bowl is a joke. Why is it a joke? Because Russell Wilson and Drake May have officially been named as the AFC alternate quarterbacks for Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. They both have decided to miss or sit out this NFL Pro Bowl. Also, Baker Mayfield decided they wanted him in there as well because Jaden was like, I'm good. I don't want to play. Guys, the NFL Pro Bowl, or all All-Star games in general, are a complete waste of time. They're asked to 10, asked to 11, asked to 12 at the end of the day. This flag football thing, stupid. This skills competition is pretty cool, right? But other than that, the actual All-Star game, the Pro Bowl game itself, it is dumb. It is stupid. Why do we even have it anymore? Let's just be honest. We want to see the stars out there. We don't want to see Russell Wilson out there. We don't want to see Drake May out there. We don't want to see Tyler Huntley from a couple years ago out there. We don't want to see that crap. This is the only way you guys will ever be able to fix the Pro Bowl. This is the only way you will ever be able to fix the Pro Bowl is have it in May or June. Simple as that. Go to Cancun, go to Aruba, go back to Hawaii, go somewhere in May or June, and actually have the stars there competing in a skills competition. Have the stars in there maybe competing in the flag football game then. But this week before the Super Bowl with a bunch of no-name people that I don't want to see. I don't want to see Drake May in there. I don't want to see Russell Wilson in there. Like, why? Guys, the Pro Bowl is dumb. The NBA All-Star is even dumber. The MLB All-Star game used to have it kind of figured out, but Mark D said, hey, that's even dumb now too. The only All-Star game that might be legitimate is the 3-on-3 hockey, and I don't know shit about hockey. But guys, the truth of the matter is the Pro Bowl sucks. The All-Star games suck, and Russell Wilson and Drake May being named Pro Bowlers? What? What? This is the participation trophy at this time. It is what it is. Cue that intro. Are you ready for the best damn NFL show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
Yeah, hey, let's go. Hitting that gridiron, we going hard, we running the plays. You know the vibe, only the strong survive. Gotta keep your head in the game. Talking NFL, uncut, straight raw. Steady bringing that sauce. We about to take off. Get it hype, this man, our sport talk. Yeah, from the quarterback to the lineman. Everybody bringing heat. You don't really want to try them. Hey, who gon' win? It's a battle of the giants. This show is the flyest. Nobody can deny it. This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception? This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception?
Let's go. What is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckheischer here with the Man Hour Show, the manhourradio.com. Guys, pick yourself up some merchandise. We got the Fugazi hoodies, we got the Man Hour merch, and we also got the Do Better hoodies. We got the Do Better hoodies out there now, so if you guys want to support the Man Hour, go over there, manhourradio.com, pick yourself up some merch. But if you don't want a hoodie, you don't want a t-shirt, you don't want a beanie, you don't want any of that stuff, simply click the like button. Right now, this is a live interactive show. Comment down below. Let us know that you're there. Let us know what team you are repping. Hit the like button and hit the share button as well, because sharing is caring at the end of the day. But guys, we're going to recap some more Super Bowl NFC Championship game. Sunday, NFC Championship game. We're going to talk about that. Commanders taking on the Eagles. That is what we're going to talk about today. We got to dive back into that game. Last night, it was all Chiefs. It was all Bills. It was all Chiefs and all Bills. And guess what? It was more Chiefs and more Bills. Tonight, it's all Commanders and Eagles. Got some Commanders and Eagles today, but get too carried away. We got to welcome the man, the myth, the legend. The man that is 6'7", 285 pounds, soaking ass wet. My man, Mark D. What's up, Mark?
What up, Buck? What up, Man Hour Nation? I'm ready. Let's do this.
Let's do it. So, Mark, as you guys know, this is a live interactive show. My man, Mark D, is a part of the toxic table. Huffy is toxic right now. He got the vid. He is out for the count, so he is dealing with whatever he's got going on in there. But we got to welcome some people in the chat. We got to welcome Laura Johnson Hedrick in the chat. She says, what's up, Man Hour Nation and Pigskin Pundits. Guys, if you want to be like Laura, click on the subscribe button down below. If you're on Facebook, click on the membership tab. If you're on YouTube, be like Laura, become a Pigskin Pundit. Guys, you get free merch, you get free after-hours footage, you get a free, excuse me, I feel like Mark. You get free for the show footage. You get a lot of free stuff. Any stuff that we do, you guys, it is free for you guys. So free entry into the $2,000 giveaway that we did this year that my man Carson won. Whatever you do is free entry if you are a Pigskin Pundit. So be like Laura. Be like Laura. Cushmaster's in the chat as well today. What's up, Cushmaster? And he's saying, man, I'm stoned to the bone, Mark. He says I'm stoned to the bone. Man, that must be Mark's friends. Mark's people are in the chat today. What's up, Cushmaster? My man Alpha Rob's in the chat today as well. He says all those games are stupid. It used to be the best versus best. Now it's dumb and it's entertainment. And Alpha Rob, I would say, is not even entertainment. Mark, do you get any entertainment value out of the Pro Bowl, Major League Baseball All-Star Game, NBA All-Star Game, any of those All-Star games?
Like I was telling you off air, man, none of them mean anything anymore.
Yeah.
Like if they meant something, they'd be cool, but they don't.
Well, I mean, even back when the Pro Bowl was in Hawaii, right? It didn't mean anything, but it seemed like people were happy to get away from a place that you normally don't get to do, right? It was a destination to go to, like Hawaii. Now it is it's in Miami, I think it is. Like, you can go to Miami anytime you want to, we'll be honest. Like, Hawaii, that's something cool, right? I mean,
And they shouldn't have changed the time, dude. Like, it was always after the Super Bowl.
yep.
And then they moved it to before the Super Bowl.
Right.
So every team that's in the Super Bowl is not going to be there. I don't know why they did that. Like, stupid.
It is because of the dead week that we don't want them to lose hype about the Super Bowl. Like, I can get it, but I don't get it either. All at the same time. But it is stupid. My man Jim says, I'd rather see Peyton and Eli all-time quarterback in 7-on-7, and I hate 7-on-7. Not wrong, Jim. Not wrong at all. I would rather see old retired Hall of Famers from said teams in Super Bowl playing on 7-on-7 than what we have right now. So any living legend on the Chiefs, any living legend on the Eagles, you guys go down to Miami, you guys go down to Hawaii, and you play some flag football. That would be must-see TV then, Mark, right?
Dude, Buck, you know me. I'm an NFL addict, dude, and I do not watch the Pro Bowl. I didn't even watch the Pro Bowl, this flag football game. I didn't even watch it.
Yeah. I do watch the skills competition. That is somewhat cool, right? And Laura says
they brought that back, actually.
Yeah, so that's Thursday night, I think it is. Laura says, I miss when the Pro Bowl was good. Yes, it was after the Super Bowl. The actual good players were there, right? What I want to say it was like Peyton Manning's last Pro Bowl when he was on the AFC and Jeff Saturday was with the Packers and they went and did the last snap, victory formation, that thing. I think that was the last good Pro Bowl. Like, ever since then, it's gone way downhill. That's how I feel. I mean, it is what it is.
I'm with you, man.
Get that out of there. All right, got Flies Eagle Fly saying, fly Eagles fly. So fly Eagles fly. We're gonna be talking about Eagles all day today. So let's talk about the Eagles today. We got my man Drew in the chat today as well. It says Chiefs. Mark, how does that make you feel when you see the word Chiefs come across the screen just like that? Not only cheese, but cheese.
You know me, man. I'm gonna talk my shit, but I gotta give respect where it's due. The Chiefs are good, man. They might three-peat. That's history. I gotta respect it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we got a lot of good storylines in this Super Bowl. Does Saquon get his first, after being on a castaway team like the Giants to the three-peat? Like, we got a lot of...
who I'm gonna be rooting for?
Eagles all day. Yeah. We got Seth in the chat says, what's up, Seth? What's going on, man? And Detroit Lions Goated said Eagles. Everybody's liking the Eagles. Like, I feel like a lot of people are like, in the last 2 days, there have been more Eagles fans on this page than I've seen in a long time, Mark. So I definitely feel like the Eagles have got the fan base. But speaking of the Eagles, Laura's like, next topic, please. No Chiefs talk. But Laura, we are going to be talking about the Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington Commanders. That game, honestly, was very, very shocking to me, Mark. I was not expecting that. Let's call it what it is. It was a blowout, right? I was not expecting that blowout at all. The Eagles are going back to the Super Bowl, guys, after the epic beatdown of the Commanders, 55-20. When I first looked at this game, I thought it was going to be a much closer game because the Commanders were playing on borrowed time, right? They were playing with house money, 0 turnovers. They were protecting Jade and Daniels. They were doing everything right to get to this particular point. But then I got to ask myself this question, guys, and I'm going to ask you guys this same question. Was the moment too big for the Commanders? Was this NFC Championship game too big for the Commanders? Because, like I said, Mark, all postseason, before this game, the Commanders held on to the ball. They had 0 turnovers and just 1 sack. In this game alone versus the Philadelphia Eagles, he was sacked 3 times and threw 1 interception. That doesn't count the countless times that he got tackled in the backfield. He just happened to fight his way forward for a 0-yard gain or a 1-yard gain that didn't ultimately end up count for a sack. The Commanders, Mark, also had a total turnovers of 4 turnovers in this game. They fumbled on kickoffs. They fumbled by like running the ball. They were just loosey-goosey with the ball all game long. The Eagles had 0 turnovers. Jane Daniels, of course, did his thing. 255 yards passing once again, and he was the leading rusher for the Washington Commanders with 48 yards. So, Mark, when you see all those stats and you hear all the numbers and you hear this, and this, do you think the moment was too big for the Washington Commanders?
I don't think the moment was too big. I think that it's just really hard for teams to be consistent. You know, like you have good games, you have bad games. They had a bad game, but let's just give it up to the Philly Eagles defense. Like they schemed up Jaden Daniels and they got him to throw the ball. Like they had fumbles. Like you got to give it up to him.
Yeah, I mean, you can give credit where credit is due, right? The Philadelphia Eagles had a great game plan. They knew how to beat the Washington Commanders, and they executed that thing to the T. And they do have the best defense in the NFL. I think many people forget about how good the Philadelphia Eagles defense actually is. They went out there and they forced those turnovers. It wasn't like the Commanders were having bad handoffs or fumbled snaps. No, they were punching the balls out. They forced Jay Daniels into making that mistake, right? The Eagles defense was that good. So when we look at the Commanders, Mark, you say they're not too big. The game wasn't too big for them. I'm saying it wasn't too big for Jaden Daniels, but now the rest of the team, Scary Terry, Dan Quinn, Cliff Kingsbury, a lot of those people have never been on a organization that expects to win these games, and Jaden Daniels, I feel, expects to win this game, or expected to win this game. Obviously, I think Jaden Daniels is the only reason why the Washington Commanders were in the position that they were to win. But Mark, let me caveat onto this question. Do you think Dan Quinn is the reason why the Commanders lost this game and not the moment being too big, obviously?
No, like I know you always tell me that you don't like when I say this, but I think the Commanders were like my Broncos. They were like a year ahead, dude. They weren't even supposed to be this far in the season. They weren't supposed to make the NFC Championship. The fact that they made it this far, like you said, I got to tell you, I hate that saying, playing on house money. I hate that. But besides that, Philly schemed them up really good. And I think that Jaden Daniels has had a bad game. Like, I think he's going to go on to do big things. And I think you're right, though, about the fan base and the organization. Like, they haven't had a winning team there in a very long time. So they have to change that culture around to go back to their old winning ways.
Yeah, you are not wrong at all, Mark. Mark, let's try to find your headphones because the speaker is just picking up the microphone. We're getting a nice little echo effect happening on there. But to caveat to pile on to what Mark was saying is, yes, the culture in Washington has not been good since 91. Let's just be flat out honest. Just between the hookers and the cocaine and the cheerleading scandal, all that is now out the door, right? And I understand that you like, even though you clear out all the toxic waste, you are still going to have that toxic residue over the organization for time to come. This was definitely a big step in the right direction. And Mark brought up a great point. This is a rebuild year, right? They are, quote, a year ahead, a year or two or three, actually, of this rebuild process. And when you look at this rebuild process, I keep referring back to the New York Giants back in 2019, 2020, when Brian Daboll first came in there, Mark, and they made it into the playoffs his first year when they were in a rebuild mode. And then they're like, we're not bad. We're fine. Do you think the Washington Commanders are going to be sitting back and relaxing now, Mark, since they got to the big game? They are a year or two ahead of schedule, and they're not going to really use that $93 million in cap space wisely. And they're like, oh, you know what? Our team's perfectly fine. And then they're back to where the New York Giants are now, right? Do you anticipate them potentially being bad next season or the year after that or year after that?
I mean, they do have new ownership. So I hope that would change things. I kind of look at them like my Broncos. We're both teams in rebuilds. We both have rookie quarterbacks. We're trying to get our teams back on track from years of losing. So I think they're one of those teams just like us.
All right, guys. So I believe the moment wasn't too big for Jaden Daniels. I think it was a bigger for the rest of the of the team. Mark is saying it wasn't too big for them either. The Eagles were just that good. So, guys, let me ask you guys this in the question or in the comments. So, in the comments below, guys, do you guys think the moment was too big for the Washington Commanders? And is that what empty means over there on YouTube? Sorry. He says, as a team, yes, the moment was too big. But as for Jaden Daniels, no, the moment was not too big. Listen, Jaden Daniels' mark is years ahead of his time. Like,
agreed.
He is just stone cold faced. Now, I normally like his post game interviews, right? He just like, yeah, I expected to win. Yeah, we just didn't win. But the one thing I did not like about his post game conference in this game was this was just another game. And I understand that mindset of saying, yeah, it's just another game. But at the end of the day, it wasn't just another game. And I wanted a little bit more emotion out of Jaden Daniels out of that. You are nodding in agreement. What did you expect to see from Jaden Daniels in that poster?
Maybe he's just too young still to realize where he was. He didn't realize that the Super Bowl is a big deal. It's going to be a big deal his whole career. He doesn't know that yet.
Yeah, and he would have been the first rookie quarterback ever to win a conference championship game.
Right.
First rookie ever to be in the Super Bowl. And, he's had a hell of a year, and that would have been a great explanation point to end it. Even just making it, not beating the Kansas City Chiefs, but just making it would have been great. Jim Powell is the Pigs and Pundit as well. He's the CEO of the Pigs and Pundits. He says the Commanders were playing a paper lion. Weak defense the week before. So Jim was saying the Lions sucked the week before, and the Commanders should have rolled over them just like they did. The defense the week before, the Eagles is way the truth, and the light against the Kansas City Chiefs. I kind of miss living there, hearing all the gunshots at night. So basically, Jim is saying that the Eagles defense was the truth. The Eagles defense was the real deal, and nobody is getting past the Eagles if the defense plays top notch. Do you kind of see that as well, Mark?
That whole roster is stacked. You know me, Buck. I've been high on them all year because of that one reason. They are going to be tough to beat.
Yeah, I was kind of late to the party on the power rankings. I was as far as them, but was week 11. I put them up there, and they just kept getting better and better and better and better. They're definitely a very, very good team. Fly Eagles Fly say that Jaden Daniels is a good quarterback, and Fly Eagles Fly. I'm going to take this one step further. He's a great quarterback. Jaden Daniels right now is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL after his rookie season. It would not shock me one bit on this upward trajectory that he is in right now, Mark, that you start talking about him as a top 2, top 3 quarterback at the end of next season. I told you,
I think he's top 5.
Yeah, he is top 5, hands down. So how do you think he can get to that top 2, top 3 status?
Super Bowl, man.
Super Bowl is what it takes, huh? Super Bowl.
Dude, everything's judged by chips.
Yeah, it's sad but true. Yeah, Kurt Miller says this is the United Way Sports Talk Show. Congratulations. I know that you're trying to be funny and sarcastic, but okay, whatever. Alpha Rob says the game is how I expected it. I didn't put them, but I did not expect the Eagles to put 50 on them. I don't think anybody was, honestly. Let's just be honest. But once you saw the passing attack of the Eagles, you're like, okay, this is going to get ugly really, really, really quick.
But, dude, Saquon Barkley, that guy is runs 70 in a mid-second. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it is crazy how the Commanders had 18 play drive their first drive. 5 seconds later, it's 7-3. What? I looked away and Saquon Barkley's 50 yards down the field. What is going on? It is crazy. Alpha Rob said the Eagles should have put 60 on Washington just for having that stupid name. Alpha Rob does not like the Commanders. Alpha Rob says Commanders is the dumbest name out there.
He's right.
Seth says, let's talk about the Commanders jumping offsides on the tush push. I never knew they could just award a score like that. Listen, if you guys do not remember, it was Louisville, right? Jumped over the line, was it twice or 3 times in a row? And
kept doing it.
Yeah, and the second time, they're like, hey, if this happens again, it's a personal foul. And then the third time, like it happened again, it's like, hey, if you do this again, we're going to award the Eagles points. I've been watching football. I've been around football for a very, very long time. Mark, I'm 36 years old. So I've been really understanding the football game for about 20 years. I've never heard that before. I didn't know that was even a thing. You are an NFL expert. You know the game inside and out. Did you know that rule?
I didn't.
It's,
Like when I heard that, I was like, but how do you stop that play? Like, unless you try to jump over like the dude was doing.
well, like, I mean, like,
they're gonna probably outlaw that play, dude. I bet.
I would have agreed with you if this was 3 years ago when it first started happening. But now that other teams are doing it, like, I don't see how they could outlaw it besides a safety thing, right? And I've only seen one player really get hurt from the tush push. It was it Tank Dell last year, I think, for the Texans, like broke his leg. But that was just a freak accident, right? I mean, he just got hit in the right spot. I don't see them outlawing the play, but I definitely see them trying to, like, limit the head contact, like, because for example, when the Bills and Chiefs played, Chris Jones and the center's head, boom, right? Like it was, I could see them doing something like that, like you can't. I don't know. You might be right. They might try to outlaw it, but definitely try to make it safe.
But let's be real. The Eagles are the only ones that do it good.
Well, and the Bills do it well. Like Josh Allen is unstoppable.
But it didn't help him in the biggest moment because the Kansas City Chiefs knew that he always went right.
Yeah. True. Josh Olson says, I think it would be cool if the NFL regular season was only 10 games and the best of 3 series in the playoffs in the Super Bowl. No, that would be dumb. I don't like that at all. I mean, and baseball is awesome, and like NBA, it is awesome. But playing the same team 3 weeks in a row, potentially, that's going to cause a lot of fights. It's going to be very, very boring. And by week 2, the team inside and out anyway. So it's going to be a 6-3 score anyways. Mark, would you want a best out of 3 series in like the playoffs?
No,
not.
They just need to make these all-star games mean something. Like when the baseball one was cool, it was because it meant something. Whoever won got home field advantage in the World Series. So it's like, do something like that.
That wouldn't happen because the NFL is always a destination Super Bowl, right? In Miami and New Orleans. I mean, think about this. It takes months and months and months to prepare for that Super Bowl. Halftime, six and security. Would you want to go to, let's say, Buffalo, New York in February, negative 20 degrees outside, could potentially be 8 foot of snow on the ground? Would you really want to see that Super Bowl?
No, that's too many games.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Fly Eagles Fly says it was a hard game for Washington. It was a very hard game for Washington. Once Saquon Barkley scored that very first time, pretty much untouched for 60 some yards, I was like, this game's over. Like in my heart of hearts, I knew it was over. Laura says it was too soon for them, in my opinion. None of us thought they were making as far as they did, meaning the Washington Commanders. Laura, you are absolutely right. I am eating crow about the Washington Commanders 100%. I said it would not shock me if they missed the playoffs back when they were kind of fumbling around. They were fooling around, right? Then they won the last 2 games to finally lock it in, beating the Eagles. And then I was like, the Buccaneers, they're the real deal. You don't want to play the Buccaneers in the playoffs. Commander said, hold my beer. Watch this. Nobody thought they were going to get past the Detroit Lions. They said, hold both of my beers now. Watch this. But yeah, you are right, Lord. Nobody expected them to be here. And if you are a Commanders fan, or 2, you are a complete wannabe hot take person throwing spaghetti at a wall. Hopefully something sticks. Nobody in their right mind thought the Commanders were going to be here. I'm just calling it, like, I'm calling you a liar if you said that, unless you're a Commanders fan, right? Then obviously you're going to root for your team. Too Evil to Hope says Jaden did fine. Jaden did great. Jaden Daniels is the only reason why they scored 20. I guess it was 23 points, right? Jaden Daniels is the
I think that's the only reason they went as far as they did.
Yeah, exactly. Go ahead, Mark.
Because he's the truth, man. He's really good. He like put that team on his back and won those games.
Yeah, too evil, too hope. I've been saying this all for not all season long, but probably for the last 7 weeks since I've been kind of buying into this kind of Commander hype. I'm like, listen, Jaden Daniels elevates everybody's play. If we're looking at Madden and you see Scary Terry has like an 80, with Jaden Daniels on the field, he's an 85. You can see Dan Quinn. He's probably a 60 coach, right? With Jaden Daniels on the field, he's a 70 coach, right? He elevates everybody around him. He has that Tom Brady syndrome. I'm not saying he's Tom Brady. Do not get that twisted. But Tom Brady demanded greatness out of people. I mean, he was a raw type of in-your-face guy. I don't think Jaden Daniels is that guy, but just his work ethic and his mentality and his pursuit of greatness elevates everybody. They're like, oh man, we got a 22-year-old kid out here at 5 a.m. out working us. We step up our game, right? Like, he definitely elevates everything. Alpha Rob says nothing is guaranteed. He is back in the championship game. Excuse me. I don't know what you're trying to say there, Alpha Rob. But yeah, nothing is guaranteed. The Commanders might be the Miami Dolphins of the 90s, right? They'll never sniff another championship game. You might be exactly right. Drew says Jaden was ready for the game. The team wasn't. The team failed Jaden. Mark, looking back at this game, the Eagles defense, we cannot take anything away from the Eagles defense. They played great. They punched the ball out. They made big, huge key tackles, and they stepped up when they had to step up. Drew, personally, I just don't think the team was good enough to compete with a team like the Eagles. I'm not saying they weren't ready. I'm not saying they were outperformed or outcoached. They just weren't good enough. Because, Mark, you said the Eagles had the best roster. Do you think they just weren't good enough?
I don't think the Commander skins, as I call them, we need to trademark that shirt, but I think that, like I was saying, I think they're like a year ahead of schedule. So I think they just need some pieces around Jaden Daniels, and you know what? He could be back to the championship game again.
Yeah, we will be talking about this in question number 3 is if they can rebound. So stay around for that, Drew. Seth says you can't say Super Bowl when Josh Allen has made one, and you can't tell me he's not top 2 or not top 3. So basically, Mark, Seth is saying, hey, Jaden Daniels can be top 2 or top 3 without a Super Bowl because we all know Josh Allen is up there.
So is Lamar, and so is Burrow. He's been to a Super Bowl, but he hasn't won one. I still consider all them like the best quarterbacks in the league.
Lamar's not even top 10, man. Stop it.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Stop it.
But he might be the 3-time MVP, Buck.
Might be. Well, I guess we'll find out Friday. Is it Friday the awards on or Saturday?
Yep.
Saturday, I can't remember. Keith says Chiefs Kingdom. What's up, Keith? What's up? Jim Powell says nobody reads the D like Mahomes. I think Jim's trying to be funny, but he means defense, right? But Daniels will get there. If they don't go back to the game next year, I'll be surprised. But you are talking about a team that has something to lose. So, Jim, I kind of see what you're saying, right? Just because the Commanders been there, right? Nobody expected them to be there. Next year, Mark, they are going to be the hunted. Everybody's going to be out giving them their best shot week after week after week. This year, they thought, hey, we can play a B game and probably beat the Commanders. Now, you're going to get the A+ shot every time. Do you think that will affect them?
Honestly, dude, I think they need some better pieces on defense. I think that was a huge part of why they failed. Like a lot of their games were like 30, 40 points a game, and you can't have that if you're going to win.
Yeah, and especially when you have the 29th ranked rushing defense coming into the best rushing offenses team, makes for a long, long night.
Like we said, they have an old defense. They need to get younger guys.
Yeah. Bobby Wagner played great until about divisional round, and then championship game, he was nowhere to be found. He was just tired, right? Drew says, let's say the referees did award the Eagles the points when they were jumping off sides, right? When the Commanders were jumping off sides. Who would get awarded the points to? Like, who would get the touchdown in the fantasy? Who in that betting? Who would get the touchdown? I would say probably the quarterback, right? I mean, it seems like the quarterback always gets defaulted to like all that stuff, but I mean,
That's an interesting question.
yeah, that is a question for those referee experts on CBS and Fox that always get shit wrong. But I digress. Sean Will Book says, I want a game in February in Green Bay. No, you don't. Nobody wants to be outside in Green Bay in January, let alone February. Like, nobody wants to be out there in -20, -30 degrees and potential for 15 feet of snow. Nobody wants to play in that shit. There's a reason
they
why.
tried the Super Bowl one time, New York. My Broncos are in it, and dude, it literally blizzarded the next day.
Yeah, I mean, hell, even was it the it was your Broncos taking on the Carolina Panthers, right? And it rained. I don't even want rain in that Super Bowl. No,
You're thinking of the Colts Bears Super Bowl. That was a rain game. That was actually in Miami, and it rained.
Yeah, I don't even want rain. I want perfect conditions. I want 75 and sunny. If it's not going to be 75 and sunny, put me in a dome and crank that baby up to about 85. I want to be sweating in the stands, right? Like, I don't want any chance of rain or nothing. Sheesh. Josh D says, go Birds. Go Birds. Sean Will says, I think they will be even better next season, meeting the Washington Commanders. In hindsight, yes, you hope your trajectory does go up, right? But, Mark, what happened to C.J. Stroud this particular season? Everybody's like, oh, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, he had a decline.
Sophomore slump, guys. The sophomore slump is a real thing. I'm not saying Jane Daniels will have a horrible season, but I'm not saying he is going to have a great season either. I think we're going to see probably Jane Daniels kind of be status quo next season, and probably year 3 into year 4, then we'll kind of see him transcend the way he did this season. And he is the keys to that ignition, like R. Kelly was. Too soon? Laura says, I hope J.J. McCarthy plays as well as Jaden Daniels his first season. Well, Laura, you will get to see J.J. McCarthy in a San Francisco 49ers uniform next season when they trade him. You don't think that?
Stir that pot, Buck.
Hey. Charles says the Eagles are just way, way better. The Eagles defense is way, way better. The Eagles defense is the real deal. The Eagles defense cannot. When I look back at this game, and I thought it was going to be a 20-23 score, maybe 17-20. Like I thought it was going to be a low scoring game, mainly because of the Eagles defense, right, Mark? And looking back on it now, I'm actually kind of surprised that the Eagles defense even gave up 23 points. The Eagles defense is that much better, right?
It could. A lot of those points were some garbage during garbage time.
Right.
So in all reality, they probably held them to 13.
Yeah, because when they scored that big touchdown over the middle that made it, was it 16-12 or something like that, 16-13? I can't remember, but yeah, I think you are about right. Jim says Washington made it as far as they wanted to. If they wanted to play on, they would have put up a different type of fight. So John says they were satisfied with being in the championship. They were satisfied. They were proud. They were like, hey, maybe next season. Do you see that?
You know what I kept thinking about? Dan Snyder being pissed on his freaking yacht somewhere, seeing the Commanders in a championship game.
I don't think he really. Listen, what they sold that team for? What, like
screw that guy?
Like $11 billion or something. It was something ridiculous.
You know, it still pissed him off.
You know, if I had $6 billion, I don't think I would be very upset. I mean, obviously, I'm not in his shoes. But, like, I'm not the type of person.
Man, we're petty, dude. You would be mad.
I'm not petty, but, like, I mean, like I wish other people success. But, you know, looking back on it, when I did leave my first high school job as a defensive of a coordinator and I took a head coaching job, I did keep an eye out on them, hoping they would, like, oh, we miss you. But, yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, I get you right. Said Washington will be back. They just need a couple more pieces on defense and a couple more receivers. We might as well just keep at it. They need a new head coach. They need some more offensive linemen, and they need a running back, right?
You know what I don't like? Dan Quinn's supposed to be like a defensive genius,
right?
And where was their defense this year?
So the defense overall was ranked about 15th, middle of the pack. Pass defense was top 10. I think they were 9th to end the season, but the rush defense was terrible. They were 30th, 29th, 30th all season long. So
overall, not that great of a defense.
No. I mean, and to be honest, what is Dan Quinn thought process? When he was with Atlanta, he's like, hey, I want to beat up on bad teams, pad my stats, make my teams look good. With the Dallas Cowboys on the defensive side of the ball, what do? They beat up bad teams, they shut them out, pad the stats, make them look good. When they played a team like the Buffalo Bills, yep, James Cook just scored another touchdown on them. Like, they get ran all over, right? It's just Dan Quinn is not a big-time coach. It's simple as that. Not a big-time coach.
I think that could be part of the reason if they don't go to the championship game again.
So let me ask you this, Mark, because New Orleans Saints has a job opening. Cliff Kingsbury says he is not going to pursue that. He's happy in Washington. Do you think the ownership, general manager, is in Cliff Kingsbury's ear saying, hey, if Dan Quinn doesn't get us back to the championship game or Super Bowl next season, the job is yours? Do you think Cliff Kingsbury is the future in Washington and not Dan Quinn?
That's a good thought. But I'm not totally sure Kingsbury's ready to be a head coach again. I think that's why he's staying in Washington for now.
He was very, very bad in Arizona. I think he was 24-38 with like one tie, all losing seasons except for the one season in 2020 where they started off 11-1.
And then they were one and done in the playoffs.
Yeah, and then they lost to 4 of the next 7. And actually, Mark, that was my first viral clip here on the Man Hour. I said the cracks of the Arizona Cardinals are showing, and the next game they lost to the Green Bay Packers, and they end up losing 7 in a row or something like that. So, yeah, I know my shit, guys. Just know it. Not to gloat or anything.
Sometimes.
Jim says anybody that doesn't win the ship needs to make immediate changes. I'm saying, like, effort would have been different if they couldn't win, if they wanted to. I agree, Jim. I agree. Laura says, put down that man juice butt. JJ isn't going anywhere. JJ's getting traded, Laura. You are signing.
That means they're going with Darnold?
You are signing Sam Darnold to a 5-year, $60 million a year contract. You are going to overpay for him, and he's going to be like Kirk Cousins and be cut the next season. I'm just saying. John says 80 degrees. What are you, a dolphin? Only can play in warm weather? No. Listen, John. I'm 36 years old. I played football in Canada for 4 years. Now, the CFL starts in June, July timeframe, and we're usually done by Thanksgiving, Christmas time, or like the first week of December is the championship game. Have you experienced 40 degrees below? Like, it's cold, man. Hell, I'm from Kansas, and when it gets like 25 degrees and that wind starts cutting through your soul, I don't want any part of that at all.
Is there any teams with domes in the CFL, Buck?
No. Because at the time when I played, we only had 8 teams. Now I think they're up to like 12 or 13 actually. But nobody had
domes.
No, because because for one, the CFL is not really profitable, right? The fields are 120 yards long and
they're huge,
60 yards wide, and just it's expensive to heat a dome. It's expensive to build a dome. It's just all around expensive. Now,
I'm surprised, actually.
Yeah. Now I haven't watched CFL since my last game there was 2013. So I haven't watched it, I haven't seen anything. But yeah, I mean they might have dome now, but I doubt it. Highly doubt it. It's very expensive. Josh says the game would have been closer if the Commanders wouldn't have had 4 turnovers. And Josh, the reason why the Commanders had 4 turnovers is because the Eagles defense punched the ball out. The Eagles defense forced those turnovers. Like I said, Austin Eckler wasn't fumbling the ball. Jaden Daniels wasn't throwing interceptions like Jared Goff was. Like, he had one, but they were all, it was just a freak accident. Like, the Eagles were punching the ball out, Mark. Like, the Eagles were causing those turnovers. So that's why the Eagles won that game. Jim says, I just like the SEC. Who the hell wants to stay in ass deep snow when New Orleans is 4,000 degrees all the time? Exactly. If you had a choice of cold or heat, Mark, what are you choosing?
Heat.
Exactly. And you live in Colorado.
Dude, that's probably why, because I get sick of the cold.
Yeah. Listen, my grandma is from northern Michigan, up in the UP, right? It would get down to like -20 there. And I'm like, how cold does it actually get? And like, cause she's like, once it gets below 0, like you just don't feel shit anymore. I'm like, no, not
Makes
wrong.
sense.
Right. Jim says it's a different kind of cold. When you wear a t-shirt at -35, it's not terribly humid. It's the dry heat. Like, what are you from Arizona, Jim? Get out of here with that crap. Josh says, I think 45 degrees and sunny is perfect football weather for football outdoors. And Josh, you are absolutely correct. But as a fan, I want a nice shade. I want a cold beer, and I want 80 degrees. AKA, I like sitting in my living room watching games. I'm just saying. Sean says, yeah, I'm from Wisconsin. Was the Packers game versus the Cowboys with the controversial catch on the goal line? I'm 38. I get it. Players don't want to play in that. Yeah, I mean, so not only do you have to think about the cold, right? So I do know that Lambeau has a heated field now, right? So that field technically never gets hard, but think about it like if you were playing, I don't know, just 5 years ago, when it's 0 degrees outside, the ground is freaking concrete. Do you want to be landing on concrete play after play after play? I'm like, no, you don't. You don't want to do it at all. Jim says, Western Pennsylvania, we laugh at Kansas winter. Listen, I understand Western Pennsylvania is it Lake Erie up there, right? No, that's be Superior, right? So it'd be Lake Superior gets all that lake effect snow. But Mark, you even have the snow there in Colorado, but I feel like the snow kind of insulates your state and kind of keeps it warm, right? Kansas, we don't get snow. It gets too cold to snow, right? And so it's just cold and nasty, and it's just miserable. Like, you can't go out and play in the snow. Like, you can't do this. Like, you're looking at a frozen ground that has just dirt because it rained and it's frozen. It's all lumpy. It just sucks. It just sucks. Winter sucks unless it's snowing, right? But anyways,
our snow goes away pretty quick.
So you are on the opposite side of the Rockies then?
Yes.
Yeah. So you know exactly just how it is. It just blows and just miserable, right? Like, damn, give me some white stuff to play with. I do like some good cocaine. But speaking of cocaine, Jalen Hurts, guys. Jalen Hurts did have a great game. Jalen Hurts, all week long, guys, we heard on the talking heads on ESPN, Fox, and NFL, and this. Hell, even this show, right? Can Jalen Hurts really win the game? Can Jalen Hurts do this? Can Jalen Hurts do that? So, guys, in the comments below, we got to ask this question. Did Jalen Hurts prove the haters wrong on Sunday? Is Jalen Hurts the man, the myth, the legend that he's made out to be? All week long, we heard it that the Eagles cannot pass the ball to win this game. We heard it all week long that the Eagles had to pass the ball well to win the game. Jalen Hurts lost the ability to throw the ball. It's all Saquon Barkley. It's all Saquon Barkley, and it's all Saquon Barkley some more. Well, guess what? Jalen Hurts threw for 246 yards, went 20 for 28 with 1 touchdown, and oh, by the way, no interceptions. And yes, he did find the end zone 3 times on rushing, and A.J. Brown got his bread with 96 yards receiving. Mark, all year long, we're saying Jalen Hurts sucks. Jalen Hurts sucks. He's like he has lost his touch. Saquon Barkley is the real MVP of this league. The Eagles would be nothing without Saquon. Mark, did Jalen Hurts finally prove his haters wrong in this game?
In my opinion, Buck, I think his performance in this last Super Bowl that he was in kind of cemented it for me. Like, the guy had a really good game. He didn't win the game, but he played the best quarterback ever. So, you gotta give him credit still. I think a lot of people gave him shade this year because he didn't really throw the ball a bunch. It was the Saquon show. And this last game, he showed his passing skills, and if they're going to win and go anywhere and win this Super Bowl, he's gonna have to do that again.
See, every time I think of an argument of why Jalen Hurts is bad, why I think he's good, like he always does the opposite, one way or the other, right? Every time I start to buy into him, like this offseason, right? I was hell-bent saying Jalen Hurts is an overrated, overpaid quarterback. I went back and watched the tape. He's not overpaid. He's not overrated. He's a damn good guy. His stats keep getting better and better and better each year previous to this year. He's obviously having a way down year stat-wise, right? But what happens when you win football games? People are happy, right? When let's flash back to the Kansas City Chiefs. I believe it was 2022 when Tyreek Hill left the Kansas City Chiefs. Everybody said the Kansas City Chiefs were done. The big play threat was done. Mahomes is done, right?
The best thing to happen to them.
It's best thing to happen to them. Since then, the Kansas City Chiefs have been to 3 Super Bowls, and Tyreek Hill has 10 kids. But we digress from.
And he's crying about it,
right? So what I'm saying is Patrick Mahomes found ways to win. Yes, he wasn't throwing for 5,000 yards. Yes, he wasn't putting up 300 or 400 yard games. They found ways to win. Jalen Hurts this season, he was asked to throw the ball a lot early in the season, right? He had 4 interceptions and 3 touchdowns his first four games of the season. They were not a very, very good team. Continuing to play like that, they would have not even been considered in the playoffs. Let's just be flat out honest, right? They changed their ways. They changed their formula, and it takes a great quarterback, a great leader, a great person to understand, like, hey, I'm going to take a step back. I don't need to throw the ball 40 times a game. I am perfectly happy handing the ball off to Saquon Barkley 30 times a game. Guys, this is why Jalen Hurts has proved his haters wrong all season long. Because name me one other quarterback that would have been happy to do that. Tua? No. Josh Allen? No. Lamar? No. Jared Goff? Probably not. Matthew Stafford? Maybe, right? But probably 90% of the quarterbacks would not have been happy and probably would have been being some type of passive-aggressive way in the media or tweets or Instagram, right? Saying, this is bullshit, whatever, like, I want out. Guys, Jalen Hurts is a real-time player. He's a great leader. He is a... Let's not forget that he was the MVP candidate just a couple years ago, right? Like, he is the real deal. So all you haters out there need to stop on this Jalen Hurts. The Eagles are winning because of Jalen Hurts, not despite him, because of him. He is doing what he's asked. He's has 1 turnover since the bye week back in week 5. Think about that. 1 turnover. He's taking care of the ball. He's passing when he's asked to, and he's very, very efficient at it. Guys, Jalen Hurts is the real deal. Mark, any follow-ups before we go to the comments?
You know what, dude? Like I was saying, I'm with you. I think he's been proving the haters all year wrong. All along, I mean. And I think a big part of his development is Kellen Williams or whatever his name is, their OC.
Kellen Moore.
Like he's Kellen Moore. He was a head coaching candidate, and there's a reason why. And I think it's finally like gelling with them.
Yeah, you are exactly right, Mark. So, guys, has Jalen Hurts finally proved his hater wrong after the win on Sunday? Let us know in the comments below. Drew says, simple answer is yes. Jalen Hurts is the real deal. You were complaining that he couldn't pass. You know what? Here's 246 yards passing. By the way, here's 1 touchdown. And by the way, I'm only going to throw the ball 28 times and complete 20 of them. What do you want? And oh, by the way, I'm still going to let Saquon Barkley get his 150, 160 yards, right, and still earn that MVP, right? It's just, he is so humble, and I mean, I don't like the Eagles. Matter of fact, I kind of despise the Eagles, but I like Jalen Hurts. Every time I watch him play and talk, like I gravitate toward like his cocky ego, but kind of like I'm a cool guy, like all at the same time. I don't know. It's a perfect mesh of personality, and I really, really like it. Jim says Saquon is the MVP. If you are winning with horsepower in a straight line, why pass in a curve? Exactly. Saquon should be the MVP. Yes, Saquon did carry the Eagles most of the season because he was asked to. Do I think Jalen Hurts could have carried the Eagles this season as well? Yes, if he was asked to. Mark, do you agree?
Yep.
There you go. Josh said Jalen should get a tattoo on his neck says Hurts so good. I like it. Who sings that song? Is that John Mellencamp, right?
Yep.
I'm pretty sure it's John Mellencamp.
Good call. I was just like
thinking
that.
And I think he's from Indiana, if I'm not mistaken, which
he is.
Yeah, because it's
John Cougar Mellencamp.
It is John Mellencamp Highway just up the road here from me a little bit, I'm pretty sure. But Drew says the Eagles run on first, throw second. He don't have to throw the ball now that Barkley is there. That's why they signed him. No, they signed Saquon Barkley because he's a damn good talent. They signed Saquon Barkley because they actually, let's just be honest, they got him kind of at a bargain deal. Yes, that was $23 million a season, right? Still, to me, that's a pretty good deal, right? When you're going to the Super Bowl, I don't care if it's $50 million a season. Like, pay the man, right? Like, he's a workhorse. He's a league MVP for a reason. Should be.
Dude, the Giants got to be kicking themselves that they let him go and they didn't try to go after Jaden Daniels.
It seems like every time I open up Facebook, do you remember that Hard Knock scene right before the draft of the Giants, and it's Shane is Sean and his kids are like, who do you want to draft, right? That kind of thing.
They're like, and the kids like Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, trade up and get him. Trade up and get him. You let Saquon walk, get him. Man, how does he still have a job?
Right.
Alpha Rob says he played okay because Washington feared Barkley. After that first play, it was a big TD. And Alpha Rob, I do understand that. Once you run the ball the way that Saquon Barkley did that first play, you are going to suck up in the box. And that's why the Philadelphia Eagles are so dangerous. It's because once you suck up in the box to start the run, Jalen Hurts has the ability to throw the ball down the field 40, 50 yards to A.J. Brown, and A.J. Brown's going to get it. Right? Like, that's why the Eagles are probably going to win the Super Bowl is because of Jalen Hurts. Like, let's just be honest. Seth says, speaking of Tyreek Hill, do you think he'll ever go back to Kansas City? No, I don't think so.
Nope.
I think that bridge is 100% burned. And to be honest, I don't think the organization would want a egotistical receiver like him back on the roster because Patrick Mahomes has excelled even better. Mark, I know you hate Mahomes, but you have to see that I think Mahomes is a better quarterback without Tyreek Hill on the field. Do you agree?
Yes, Tyreek Hill's a cancer, dude. There's a lot of teams that he's burned a bridge with, and he hadn't even played for them.
Yeah. What? It was after did they beat the last game of the season? They lost to the Jets, right? I'm pretty sure, right?
Oh yeah, and he walked off the field.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm tired of this shit. Because
he knew that they were gonna not get in the playoffs because my Broncos were kicking your Chiefs' ass.
Yeah, well, but like even then, like,
or the third string.
But like, why do you say that? Like, come on. No,
you don't do that. That's sorry to say, but that's a bitch move.
That is a bitch made move, right? 100% bitch made. Phil Casilla, over here at YouTube.com. What's up, Phil? He says, short answer, yes. Prove the haters wrong. I like it. Sean says he's a good game manager. He's playing a top 5 quarterback right now. This is going to be an Andy Reid Bowl. His old team versus new team. Listen, there is nothing wrong with game managers at all, right? Nothing wrong with game manager. Tom Brady was a game manager. Whether you want to admit it or not, Tom Brady was a game manager.
The best quarterbacks in the leagues are game managers.
Yeah, just because you are able to step up when asked to do so, right? You are there to manage the game until the last seconds of the game. Patrick Mahomes is a game manager. His first 3 years with Tyreek Hill on the team, not so much a game manager. That defense was terrible. Now he is a game manager. Justin Herbert, I think he is a great game manager, but once the Chargers asked him to go out there to win the game, like he did versus the Houston Texans, you see what happens. They crumble. So it is what it is. It is that empty means it says all I ever wanted was a black Grand National. What is a black Grand National? Is that a car? I don't know. I don't know what a black Grand National is. Okay. Sean will be okay. Tom was the best game manager of all time. And yes, he was. And now when he went to Tampa Bay, he was asked not to manage the game. He was out there to say he has to go win those games, which he did those effectively that one year that he did the Super Bowl, right? But historically, Tom Brady was a game manager, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, Mark, I understand a lot of people take the term game manager and they try to twist it and make this bad, like, I don't know, omen type of thing. Hell, I think your guy, John Elway, was a game manager, right?
Someone, like I said, the best quarterbacks in the league were game managers. You can call Joe Montana a game manager. You know, like you can call him a system quarterback, whatever you want to call him. They're guys that fit the system, that make it work. And like we always say, this is an ultimate team game. It's not just the quarterback.
Yeah, it is a perfect marriage, right? Because let's just be honest, Patrick Mahomes on the Buffalo Bills will not be going back-to-back champions, right? Patrick Mahomes on the Bills will not be going back-to-back championships, right? If Jaden Daniels was on the Denver Broncos, probably wouldn't be leading them to the AFC Championship game. It just, it's that perfect system, right?
Yeah, like if John Elway didn't get Mike Shanahan, he might have never won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, and also do not forget about your boy TD either, right? TD.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying that Shanahan brought that whole system
Yeah.
in, and it worked.
Jim says Jones Barkley is the focal point. The good defense that played the Chiefs still couldn't stop the flats and dumps over the backers. Not sure if the Philly has the power, so drag race analogy comes back. You're going to outrun the Chiefs. So Patrick Mahomes does put the Kansas City Chiefs in great positions to win games, right? He is able to dump it over the linebackers' heads to Travis Kelce, able to roll the pocket to dump it off to P.A. Ryan or this and this and this, right? But Vic Fangio is the defensive coordinator for the Eagles, right, Mark?
Yep.
He is a very, very good defensive coordinator. There's a reason why the Eagles wanted to steal him from the Dolphins, right?
Sean Payton tried getting him too.
Yeah, I mean, we are good. The Super Bowl is going to be great, is what I'm trying to say, right? 21 Skins fan says Brady was a game handler. He took the game over. Maybe in Tampa, not in New England. Mark, do you think he was a game?
I mean, there was probably some games he took over. Just like I would say Peyton Manning did the same thing. Like,
right.
He was a game manager most of the time, but there were some times where they needed him to put the cape on and win the game.
Yeah, but so there are not game managers out there, right? Josh Allen is not a game manager. Lamar Jackson is not a game manager, and there's a reason why they're not in the Super Bowl. They rely on their abilities too much to get them there, not the team.
True.
And Jim says, of course, Mahomes is a game manager. Jesus. Ay. Drew says game managers make the best quarterbacks. It helps. It helps, right? Definitely helps.
But I mean, with Jalen Hurts, he's got a great team around him. He doesn't have to do that much.
Yep. I mean, and like, honestly, if Jalen Hurts was on the Pittsburgh Steelers this season, the Steelers would be in the Super Bowl because they have a great system around them, great defense, great running game, just like the Eagles.
Russ wasn't going to do it.
Yeah. I'm meeting Crow on that one too, and Spoonerman's in the chat today. What's up, Spoonerman? He says, how can I become an NFL coach? I have enough ball knowledge. I want to coach for the New York Giants, and when we're going to win the Super Bowl every year, I'm going to coach them. How? Spoonerman, let's just be honest. Coaching.
Why do you want to coach the Jets?
He said the Giants, so he must be a Giants fan, right? So, coaching is all about who you know. I'm going to be flat out honest. Coaching is all about who you know. Now, at a high school level, you walk up to your local high school field and say, "Hey, are you looking for like a coach?" 9 times out of 10, they will say yes. Then you work your way up the ranks. Now, let's say you are a college graduate, right? No. Let's take it one step back. Let's say you are a really, really good football player in high school, but you don't want to play at the next level, right? What you do is you become a manager on said team, whether it's Indiana, whether it's Purdue, whether it's Colorado. You become a manager on on that team. You start to rub elbows with the coaches and interact with them. See what kind of work it actually takes in to be a coach, right? You don't realize this, but coaches are there probably 20 hours a day. From June or July till January, we are there 18 to 20 hours a day. There's a reason why there's couches in my office, because I take naps all the time. Like, even as a high school coach, we are there a lot. So Once you start rubbing elbows, you start knowing people, right? Then you like, hey, let me be a GA assistant, which is a graduate assistant, right? You graduate college and become assistant coach. Normally it is free and you don't get paid anything, but you get to travel, you get gear, you get all the swag, but you get the knowledge, right? And then you just got to start making relationships, man. It is all about who you know. It is all about getting the foot in the door. So you just look at my man Trace. I coached Trace back in 2021 is when he graduated. He could have went Division I. Honestly, he's like, you know what? Like, I'm done. He is now a coach for the XFL. So it is all about who you know, and it's all about kicking in the door. So, like, who is the 49ers coach? Mark Sean McVay.
Oh,
No.
Kyle Shanahan.
Kyle Shanahan. So Sean McVay, which is the LA Rams coach, he's been coaching since he's 21 years old. So he's 38, 39 now, right? But you have to realize he's been on an NFL roster or a coaching some point since he's 22. A lot of those jobs were unpaid. So you are an assistant quarterback coach. You know what that means? That is a glorified manager. Go give me the balls. Go give me the bags. Go do me this, right? So this is knowledge. This is free knowledge that I'm giving to you, Spooner, man. Like, so if you go to the NFL.com website right now, scroll down to the very bottom at the footer, there's a little thing that says careers, right? All of these NFL teams are looking for film crew guys. They're looking for water boys. They're looking for this, and this, right? Get your foot in the door. Get your foot in the door. Then you'll be able to rub elbows with the head coaches, with your positional coaches. And then at that time, because assistant coaches are consistently leaving, right? They're consistently going up in the ranks. Like, hey, can I be your assistant running back coach? What are you going to do? You're going to get, like, you're going to hold bags. You're going to go get them water, get them balls, get some tape. You just got to pay your dues at the end of the day. Sorry, little tangent there, Mark.
No, that was some good knowledge, Buck.
Sean says, I think you have to be a game manager in today's NFL. That's why Love is falling apart right now. He's not managing the game well, making bad mistakes. Andy Reid is the best coach and game manager right now. Listen, Andy Reid. So what makes a great coach is the ability to adjust to the players that you have, right? So me as a high school head coach, I have 4 playbooks that I have, right? I go into the summer in July, and I see if I got my running backs, I got my receivers, or I don't have anybody, right? That playbook's gone. We are not running spread. We're going to run power, right? And just because I got some big body guys and no receivers and a quarterback that can't throw a 5-yard out on a dot, that doesn't mean that power offense is going to work either. So sometimes you just got to mix a little bit of this, mix a little bit of that. That's what makes Andy Reid so great. That's what made Sean McVay so great a couple years ago. That's what made Kyle Shanahan so great, is they can shape their systems to what they want to be, right? Now, there's bad coaches out there like Rex Ryan. Yes, Rex Ryan did take the Jets to the AFC Championship game. But once he lost his receivers and his running backs, what happened? 4-12, 2-16, right? They weren't very good because he didn't shape the system. And now it just, some people aren't meant to coach like that, but whatever. Alpha Rob says the Giants try to make Daniel Jones a game manager. He managed up to F up everything. And Alpha Rob, you were wrong. They wanted Daniel Jones to push the ball down the field. They didn't want to give Saquon Barkley the ball because they were afraid to pay the man. They wanted Saquon Barkley to be the game manager. They wanted Daniel Jones to be the guy. Let's just be honest. Jim says, I don't like high school coaches. PTSD. Mine broke his wedding ring on my helmet, and that was my fault. Well, Jim, if you would have picked up your block, I wouldn't have had to punch you in the face. Alpha Rob says, so I can become a Gatorade guy and tell McDermott to change his style of defensive scheme. That doesn't work. Listen, even to be a water boy, you got to know somebody in the organization. What you got to do, Alpha Rob, Spooner Man, people out there that want to be a water boy, which it pays great, by the way. A water boy makes $80,000 a year to be a water boy. I'm just throwing it out there. So all you got to do, the Cincinnati Bengals are right down the street. They walk across the street to practice every day. Just go out there and be like, hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? Make them see your face. Wear something bright. When I send kids to college camps, that they're like, oh, should I just wear like my black shoes and black shirts? Like, no. Wear some lime green, some neon orange, stand out. Because when I go out there and evaluate tape, you could be the worst player out there, but I guarantee you my eyes are gonna be, oh, look at those orange cleats. Look at that neon orange shirt. Like, I'm gonna see that shit. If a coach or a manager or a general manager consistently sees you at practice and training camp and all that stuff, wearing some bright ass orange and neon yellow shit, and like, hey, just being friendly, they might come out like, hey, you want to help out the team? You want to be a water boy? You want to be a chain gang? Like, you want to do something? It's going to be free at first, but if you really want to do it, you got to do it. James says, shit, I'd be the most hype water boy for the Browns. Listen,
I want that job, Buck.
I'm trying to think of what game it was, but there was a fan that was wearing a media banner, right? I want to say it was the Commanders game, and I don't know what he was doing because I didn't see a camera or a water bottle, but he had like a little media band. Like, he was going hype. That man was just happy to be there, and you just got to you got to fake it till you make it at the end of the day, right? Always got to make it till you make it. Fake it till you make it. Laura says, I always put Kay in lime green and hot pink cleats while she played softball. You knew who she was. And James says, I could fill the water bottle with my tears. Not wrong. All right, guys, so that is going to be it for today's show. We got a little hour show today. Honestly, I didn't have time to prep for a full show. I was out interviewing.
Yeah, Buck was busy.
Funny, I was interviewing for a coaching job. I was speaking about coaching jobs, and I've been trying to get into that college level, and I maybe have got up to that college level, and I have dreams and aspirations of one day being in the NFL, but, you got to do what you got to do. But
One step at a time, Buck.
One step at a time. No, man, fuck that shit. I'm going to leap some bounds, baby. Mark, any closing thoughts before we head out, big guy?
You know what? Good luck on that coaching position, man. Fingers crossed for you, brother.
Fingers crossed. I did coach a little bit of college last year for about six weeks in Division III. So this year, hopefully, fingers crossed, get up there, bada bing, bada boom. Rub those elbows, says Sean. Yes, sir, rub those elbows. But until again, guys, we'll be back tomorrow, live, raw, uncut. Tomorrow, Wednesday night, me and Mark will do an after-hour show. Mark, what do you want to talk about tomorrow night on the after show? What's been really grinding your gears?
Let's talk about Jaden Daniels being a top 5 quarterback.
All right, there you go. Tomorrow after our show, guys, Jaden Daniels top 5 quarterbacks. You have to be a Pigskin pundit to watch it. So until then, guys, we out. Later.